right, welcome to this week's episode of I Hate My Friend Sports Teams podcast. I'm here with good friend David, and we're going to kick off this week's episode talking hot takes for this NBA season. So,
what's up, man? I hate my friend sports teams. I hate them. I really do, though. So, JJ, good friend of mine, know him since high school. Big Dallas fan. Ever since I knew he was a Dallas fan, I fucking hate Dallas. Can't stand him. Can't stand him. I'm a Utah Jazz fan. It's sad, man. It's a sad world we live in. Okay.
It's a tough world.
Talking hot takes?
Hot takes. You want to kick us off?
Kick us off, man. Okay, NBA hot takes. Now, listen. I made this take, okay? So my good friend Jason, a week and a half ago, this is pre-Harden trade. Now, listen, okay? And again, I said this with two certainties. One certainty is if they get rid of James Harden, and two is if Embiid goes in the playoffs healthy. Here is, if those two certainties happen, one has happened. If Embiid goes into the playoffs right, I have the 76ers, all right, without James Harden, getting to their first Eastern Conference Finals since 2001. I believe in them. I love Nick Nurse. I love Nick Nurse. I love the pieces that they have. I love that they have implored Maxey to the two as the main two. He's thriving. I think they like each other more. I think everything is flowing more. I think the continuity is still there from last year. I absolutely love the 76ers. Now, there's two things. Okay, number one, they have to be on the opposite side of the semifinal from the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they beat the Celtics, even though they almost did last year. I don't think they beat the Celtics. All right. However, they do. I have them right now personally as the 2 seed going in. I think they're going to be great in the regular season. I think they're an awesome regular season team. I think Nick Nurse knows how to coach superstars really well. I think he has a good track record of that. My first hot take is they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I believe in them. I do.
All right, so you have them as a 2 seed. So you have them on the other side of the bracket you need them on the other side of the bracket from the Celtics. So who do you have then 1, 2, and 3? If you have Sixers at 2, who do you have? Boston at 1 or Boston at 3?
I have Boston at 1. I just think they're too well-rounded. I think they're too well-rounded. I think they have too much talent. I think if one guy goes down, they can bring in the next guy.
Okay.
And I have Bucks at 3. And the only reason I have them at 3, I know they're a great regular season team. They always finish first in the East most years. But I have them at 3 because, as you can already tell, they're trying to learn each other. They're trying to figure out who needs the ball at what spots, at what times. They're trying to figure out just flow together and who needs the ball when and who's carrying the ball up the court and just little things like that. It's going to take time, kind of like the Heaters. I think it's going to take 15 to 20 games. I do think they're actually going to be about 500, hovering around 500 after Game 16, and then slowly start to take off like 10 games before All-Star break and really push for that 3 or 4 seed. So I like the 76ers. I think if Embiid goes in healthy without Harden, he's going to be a little bit more motivated. I don't think it worked last year with them. I know Harden had 2 hot games. Horford is 1 year older. I don't like anyone in the East. I think the East sucks. I've thought that since Michael Jordan retired. The East is bad. Okay?
Yeah.
There's only 2 teams that look good. There's 2 teams that look good. That's the Celtics and Sixers.
Yeah. So I think that's been the something we bonded over. Even though we hate each other's teams, we have that West over East the last 25 years, and it doesn't seem to be changing this year. In fact, it seems to be pretty lopsided. So now Sixers, you're right. I think the coaching change, I think, is a good move for them. I like the Kelly Oubre pickup. I think he's a good piece. Leaning into Maxey's really good. I think they have some good pieces there. I like your hot take though, because I don't think they're better than Milwaukee or the Celtics. I think they've got a lot to prove, specifically Embiid, in terms of getting over that second round hump and going against Giannis in the playoffs. I know that's your guy, so it's going to be a tough matchup. So I like the hot take overall. I don't really see it personally, but I think getting off the Harden situation is probably a small addition by subtraction there as well.
Okay, so listen, here's the next thing. Okay, they've picked up capital. They've picked up assets. I saw a take today well, not a take. I saw, I want to say a source. I might have been from The Athletic, where they're trying to get Levine and DeRozan for that pick swap, that future first, and maybe a
Yeah.
couple pieces they picked up from the Clippers, maybe Batum, maybe they might just throw them. Um, I don't like DeRozan on the team. I do not want
Mm.
DeRozan to come. I hope they get Levine. I do think they need one more athletic, twitchy scorer on the perimeter that can
Yeah.
create his own shot and be a
Yeah.
playmaker.
And
So
the Bulls do have to blow it up, so
they got
they're going to move at least one of the guys. So the package is going to be real interesting, and what they can get around the league for him. If that could,
right.
if that's something they could get, a Maxey, Levine, Embiid combo is
No doubt.
that puts them right up there. I would say at that point probably better than the Bucks. I think the Celtics are, to your earlier point, so well rounded, but the Celtics rely on, to your point, old Al Horford and about as unreliable as an NBA player as you can get, KP. So
Porzingis.
yeah,
God,
so
the freaking unicorn, dude. Listen,
yeah,
I just think, to me personally, Horford, he's got to be like 37. I mean, I know he
he's
shut
37
down
and a
Embiid.
half. Yeah,
Jeez. So I know he shut down Embiid last year for like 3 game stretch. My thing is
for a
this,
couple
right?
of years.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Okay, yes, but at 36, he is
Yes,
shutting down Embiid. Or
yes,
37, however what he was last year in last year's playoff run. I'm just hoping, that Embiid sits on the block, puts his left shoulder down, and legit uses his 60-pound advantage to him this year. Stop with the 1-2 hezzy jump shots. Stop the leaning jump shots. Don't. We don't need to get
yeah,
to the elbow. Hey, get to the mid post, get to the low post, sit there, go to work. Let the perimeter players stay on the perimeter. And as cliche as that is, and as much as heard as that is, there's truth behind it. There's truth behind it. He needs to just go in and look. This is what I've been talking to Jason about. This the NBA is so fragile now. They put Marcus Smart on this guy last year. Do you remember this?
yeah,
And they just, hey, no matter what, go take a charge, flop, go take a charge. And Embiid is scared to back him down under the rim. So my thing is this: you know what he should do? Hey, give me the ball in the low block. I weigh more. I'm better. I have better touch. I'm gonna boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna just shoulder bump you under the rim. And guess what? Make him call 6 charges. Make
yeah,
him call 6 charges. Because my thing is this, man. If they want to call 6 charges and take you out of the game, go right to the media, say this isn't basketball
yeah.
anymore. I'm done with this.
Superstar getting those calls.
Go to the media. Go to the
Yeah,
media and tell them, hey, this is not basketball. We have lost the translation of the game somewhere over
yeah,
the past 25 years. I can't be a big man anymore. They're putting 6'4", 200 guards on me, and it's working. This should not be
yeah,
working.
yeah.
So, I mean, not to get off
It,
topic, I got Sixers to the East Conference Finals this year if Embiid is healthy. If Embiid is healthy.
okay. Okay. Which is an if as well.
It's a big if.
He's
It
been
is.
dealing with some injuries, specifically come playoff time after a full season of carrying around that big body you were mentioning. So
No doubt.
that's a good one. I guess I'll go with mine next. I think in a brutal West, I have the Lakers and Pelicans missing the playoffs, and
Pell's
I
missing,
think
huh?
I have Pels and Lakers. I think Pels just can't stay healthy. It seems like the last 3 years they've had a combination of Zion, Ingram,
Right.
Alvarado. Someone is always out. I don't think that
Yeah.
changes this year.
Okay.
And then a popular Western Conference Finals pick. In fact, popular NBA champion pick. The Lakers. I think similar to what we were talking about with Horford. LeBron is older. He's going to be expected to carry a big load. I don't think Anthony Davis has shown to be a true one. I think he's going to miss a lot of games this year. I think LeBron, with the load management, at some point can't play 35, 38 minutes.
Okay.
I think Reeves had a great year. He was good for your Team USA, but I just don't see it with that squad. I think in that tough West, I think I have those two teams missing out.
I am with you on the Pels.
Okay.
I'm with you on the Pelicans. I think they make the play-in and lose again. I think they make the
Ooh.
play-in and lose again. I don't
Okay.
see, like you said, Zion's not making it through, man. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. I don't think he makes it through. I have the Lakers making it.
Okay.
I like the Lakers to get favorable calls the entire way through. I like LeBron listen. Even if they get the 10th seed, they got to get to a 1-game play-in. where they can, same as last year, where they can legit just get to the game, play as hard as they can for 48 minutes, play LeBron 43, play Anthony Davis 41, beg for calls, and get in.
Okay.
And get in, man.
Okay.
I do. I think the Lakers get it. I like the take, though. I do, because I have the Lakers personally as the 7 seed going in.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm not far from you, from where you're at.
I think your comment about the calls, I think that team, almost more than anyone in the NBA, you got LeBron, AD, and Reeves. I'm really curious to see how this flopping rule impacts someone like Reeves. Good player, but man, he gets superstar calls as an average, above average, definitely below all-star level guy. And there was a run last year where he was averaging like 14, 15 free throws in like the final 10, at some point over the final 10 games. And it was, if that continues, right, that's a risk for my prediction, because
it makes
they're
no sense
favorable.
that he gets all that. It's 0 sense being made.
Yeah.
That he gets that. There's some little white guy, shifty little white guy, playing next to LeBron, just getting everything. It feels like Mo Williams all over again. It makes no sense.
That's right.
Okay. Number 2 for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I'm gonna get a lot of hate, but I believe in 2 years people will see it, and it's gonna be really bad now that they're playing well. Popovich needs to go. Popovich is cooked. Listen to me. I'm a coach, guys. I'm a coach. I've coached my whole life. I'm from a family of coaches. If you talk to anyone I know, I support coaches. I do not want them fired. I always take coaches back. Popovich is one of my main influences. Swear.
Popovich he's been your guy since 2000 since we were watching basketball together, and yeah.
His dribble drive modernization of offensively from 2009 to 2015 was a thing of brilliance. His flow, his fluidity, everything he was doing with his offense, his hammer flare screen setups, which is basically, I'm not trying to get too technical, just baseline drives into these screens to the baseline where they pass the baseline pass for the 3 in the corner. Just so many different things and variations offensively he's created and he's adapted, and he kept modernizing who he was. I think he's done, though. And let me tell you why. I don't like that he takes Wemby out so soon. I don't like his lineups. I don't like – listen, he's a Dean Smith guy. So he's used to not calling timeouts, let my team play through. It's hurt them so many times this year that I've seen. I know they're 3-2. I get it. And 2 of their losses, it's hurt them down the stretch. I think his offenses are stale. I think his ATOs, his out-of-timeout play calls, are redundant and kind of a thing of the past. I don't think there's enough screen-to-screen action. I don't like what he's doing. I don't even really like the fact that he hasn't got. Listen, Wemby just came off a 38-point game. All right, I get it. I believe, and everyone's going crazy, Wemby's top 10 already. No, I think you're a prisoner of the moment. I believe Wemby needs to be used even more. I think his usage rate needs to go up even more. Like Pop, guess what, man? It's time to utilize your stars. Utilize them. He's 19. Play him 38 minutes a game. Stop playing this man 30, 31 minutes a game. And he's also it's time for a new voice. Now, don't get me wrong. They can't fire him. It's like Belichick. You can't fire him. He's done too much for the organization. He's done too much good. He's too smart of a mind. Hey, bring in someone. Like, I know he's brought in a lot of international guys. He's brought in Becky Hammond. Bring in someone, mentor them, and step off in 2 years. Let someone else take Wemby in this franchise going forward. I think you're going to see. I think you're going to get a lot of complaints about Pop the next 2 years. I really, truly do. I know they're 3-2. This one is probably my. If I have to look back in 2 years at what my worst hot take could be, it possibly could be this. But I also think it's going to come true. I think Pop is out in 2 years. I didn't like him since LaMarcus Aldridge left. It just everything became stale. It just became too stale. Like it became too centered around the veterans. Like. It's just time for a reboot in San Antonio. This is me. I don't know. Tell me what you think of this.
No, I think there comes a point where every coach can lose the locker room, right? With that voice and someone like Pop, you're right. He's been able to kind of shift his style with the talent he's had around him, modernize that his coaching skill set. I think it is a hot take too because he just signed that 5-year extension, right? 4 or 5-year extension.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It is.
It's a bold take. Specific. I mean, NBA changes coaches pretty frequently. I think Pop, to your point, you can't fire him, so he's got to walk away, and so that pressure to has to come kind of from the locker room. I think where he feels like when he's losing the locker room is when he'd have to step away. There is recent.
Go ahead. My bad.
I was just going to say there's a similar recent case. I would argue you got Carlisle and Dallas, right? Won a championship, brought Dallas' only championship, and him and Luka didn't hit it off. And a young franchise guy, if he's not super happy, early on, or after a few years, if Wemby doesn't maybe see something with Pop, or to your point, they're not maybe winning the games, that's something that could happen.
Carlisle's a hard ass though. He demands a lot. Popovich builds such great relationships off the court, his famous dinners, wine tasting, all this stuff. So it is going to be hard, man, because the one thing he does as a coach is really builds relationships. You see it, and especially small market too, you kind of have to. But I'm just talking from a specific coaching standpoint. I'm talking about what I see on the court. Don't get me wrong. I think he has good years, maybe a year or two left in him. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't like what I've seen the past 4 years, X's and O's wise, schematically wise, lineups. I don't see it. I just think they need a new voice. They need to build off that with a Pop guy though, with a coaching branch, someone from his coaching branch. That's my number 2. What do you got for yours?
All right. So the second one I've got is that the Brooklyn Nets are going to make some noise in the Eastern Conference. I like their team. I think they've got Ben Simmons is healthy. This is a risky one, right? I'm basically anticipating Ben Simmons getting back to not 100% of what he was, but I think if he can get back to 85%, they've got a team full of kind of fan favorite role players there across Phoenix and Dallas, right? Of those trades that they did last year with KD and Kyrie Irving leaving, they've got defenders everywhere. I mean, they've got Finney Smith and Royce O'Neal and Ben Simmons and Claxton and
Finney Smith,
good 7'5" guy. They've got them everywhere, and they've got Cam Thomas off the bench who can flamethrow his way 20 to 40 points. Another one, right?
Yep.
So, I like their squad, and I think in a down Eastern Conference, I think they can make some noise. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do with someone like Spencer Dinwiddie, right? Are they going to keep him with that roster? Are they going to look to move him at the trade deadline? They have abundance of wings, and I'm really curious to see what they do. So this prediction is a little bit depending on what they do with some of those guys. But if they keep that team together, I think they can be, they can make some noise and be a really tough out in the first round. So I'm curious to see what they do.
I have them going in as the 7 seed. I have them losing 2 in a row in the play-ins.
2, okay.
Yeah, man. I have them losing to the Hawks. And then I have them losing to the Pacers. I like the Pacers. Your boy Carlisle. I like Carlisle.
Yeah. I like the Pacers too. I think they can be fun.
I like the Pacers. I love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
You mentioned that you have the Nets losing 2 in the play-in. I've actually got them in the 9 seed to start, and I have them right behind the Magic and Pacers, and in front of the Hawks. So I think they beat the Hawks. I think the playoff chances for the Nets are really going to be playing one of the Pacers and the Magic and having a win. So I think their best bet is beating the Magic, who I think are going to be a tough team. And I had the Bucks number 1.
The Magic are tough.
The
Magic are tough. And listen, okay, I'm not going to bullshit you. I revised my Eastern Conference last night. I've watched the Magic 2 games now. 2 of their 6 games. They're 4-2. I've watched them 2 of my 6 games. And I really like what I see when they're all healthy. They haven't been healthy for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. I have them as the 6th seed.
Oh, okay.
I have them making the playoffs. Not even the play-in. They're in.
Not even the play-in. Okay.
I love them, and not only do I love them, I have them pushing the Bucks. I'm dead serious, man. To 7 games first round. I really believe it.
Okay.
I think the Bucks are going to struggle with them.
Okay.
They are humongous.
They are. They
But
are.
but Wendell Carter out for 2 months. Happened last night. Last play of the game against the Jazz. Last play of the game. Fractured
I
his
didn't
ankle.
even see that.
Hey,
I saw he left. I saw he was hurting, and I saw he came down. And I was squeamish. I couldn't look, but
this fucking guy is hitting threes. He hit
yeah.
3 threes against us last night. I'm like, jeez, oh my. So they have shooters everywhere. They have veterans
They do.
everywhere. Listen, Paolo Banchero, okay? He was having, before last night, he had 38 and 6 last night. He looked like a number one last night.
He
Okay,
did.
so year
14 free
two,
throws. Yeah.
yeah, we'll talk about, well, we're not going to talk about that bullshit,
Yeah.
but he looked last night like the real deal. The previous 5 games, he was averaging 12, 5, and 4. So
Wow.
stamp it yet, but I like the Wagner brothers. I like Isaac. I like their trio of point guards. I
Yeah.
like Fultz. I love Cole Anthony. He's a difference maker. He is a difference maker. And number
You
three
would.
is um
Carolina guy.
oh dude, listen. He hit critical shot after critical shot when we were bringing it close last night. Jazz fan again. But my thing is this, man, like they just have a young stable of guys. Of fucking guys,
They
and
do.
they come at you in waves, man. And the way they attack, I mean, they can score in so many different ways. They really play hard. They're really young. They're feisty. I think they finally have kind of found their groove after a couple years together. I like what I'm seeing, man. I like what I'm seeing from the Magic. I know they're 4-2. They have an easy schedule coming up. I look at their schedule. They can be 6-2. So like we'll see where they're at in about a
It's one
few
of
weeks.
those. It's one of those things to your point where they've got the pieces, but they didn't really have the experience, right? Of their young team, they were losing games. That experience is hard to replicate without having gone through it, right? And now that they've gone through it for a few years, they got some good pieces. They're adding on to it. These guys are now going from young guys to veterans, right? I think they can make a leap, and they don't have the talent that you know Oklahoma City team with Westbrook, Harden, and Durant and Ibaka had, right? But I
Right,
think they've got a similar trajectory of where they're just continuously getting better. They bring in number
right.
one picks. I think at some point it's really going to pay dividends. And I think you see a leap this year. I still think they're about a year out,
Think
a
so?
couple more pieces, but I think I like your point that I think they could be a tough out in the first round. So
How about this? What do you think of this? Okay, you ready? What do you think of this?
yeah.
Trade deadline, Orlando Magic, Russell Westbrook.
Ooh. So I
He,
mean, you
you got defenders around him. You got scorers and shooters around him. You got vets on that team already. You got Joe Ingles coming off the damn bench. Um,
yeah,
Russ Westbrook. So that's another conversation with the Clippers that we're going to have to
yeah,
have.
yeah,
I don't think it's going to work with Harden and
yeah.
Westbrook. I do not see it working. It didn't work in OKC. It did not working. It did not work. They both wanted out. They both requested a trade out of Houston. They were like, we can't do
They
this. Did
they
you see
did.
Russ's interview about Harden? It did not look like he sold his
Awkward.
entire awkward.
Awkward.
Everything
Yeah.
seems awkward. Everything
Yes, it
seems
does.
weird over there.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of them. Um, and
I um,
I love the Clippers without Harden.
I know. I know. They just need to stay healthy. If they can ever stay healthy,
Because
I'm
Kawhi, when he had 2 healthy games in the playoffs last year, looked like the best player in the NBA again. Like for 2 games.
classic. Classic.
I'm just
Come
like,
playoff season,
there he goes.
he just turns it on. Yeah. I
My,
still I still think if Kawhi doesn't go down in 2021 against Utah in the second round, I think that's their year. I think last year, I think they beat Phoenix if they stay healthy. I mean, if they can ever play a good playoff season without getting hurt. I mean, that squad is nice, but now, to your point, you've injected a little James Harden in there. You've injected a little drama. Does something go wrong in the locker room and you get off one of those guys? I don't know.
hate it. Last take number 3, hot
Let's
take.
do it.
Um, I love my Sixers East Conference Finals one. I really believe it's going to happen if they get healthy going in with Levine or without Levine if they get him.
Okay.
Pop one, I'm going to end up slitting my throat over probably like in 2 months, but I believe it from what I've seen with my eyes. This
Okay.
one, I am almost sure of. I am
Okay.
almost sure of. The Heat are not even going to make the play-in.
Oh,
They're done. Let me tell you
they're
what's
not
going
even
to
the
happen.
play-in.
Jimmy
Okay.
Butler's Jimmy Butler is already hurt.
Okay.
Playing with injuries. Okay. I don't think they have the assets to make a big trade. They don't have the cap space. They don't have the assets.
Yeah.
They're going to have to make a desperate move, and it's like for who at this point? For
Yeah.
who at this point? Like who are you going after? You going after Cat? You going? I mean, who are you going after?
Yeah.
I think that they missed the play-in. I think Bam gets injured. I think Jimmy's already dealing with injuries. I think Hero can go be Hero. I do not like the Heat this year. What's their record
Okay.
right now? What is their record right now?
I think it was something like 1-4. I think it was 1-4.
Hey, listen. They're 0-4.
0-4. They don't even have a win yet.
Uh,
I thought it was 1-4. I thought they had a chance to go 0-5 and they snuck one out. But
they snuck one out. Okay, you're right. They snuck one out. They're 1-4 right now.
1-4.
So I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. Yeah, I just don't. You know what? They're about to be 2-4 because they're up 25 right now on the Wizards, which is the biggest disgrace for a
A free
basketball
win.
team I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Um,
Kuzma and Poole. I mean,
it's a joke.
can you
It's a joke, buddy.
as a top two?
It's a
The
joke.
Heat are a hard one. I mean, we talk about we hate our friends' teams, but but there's no team, as you know, I hate more than the Miami Heat due to the Mavericks and Heat history. But I've underestimated them the last few years, and Jimmy Butler was a guy who, I'll be honest, I thought Jimmy Butler was a tier two, a tier B guy. I never thought he was a number one. I think he's proved me wrong over the last few years, but he doesn't take the regular season seriously. And I think that between the losing Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, and to your point, they're thin now. Lowry's another year older, right? He's had awful games this year. I do like Jaime Jaquez.
Me too.
I think he's going to be good. I think Nikola Jovic. I think he can take a step forward.
I like him.
Hero is good. So, but I'm with you. I have them in a 6 seed with this tough start. I'm not confident in that anymore, but I could see it. It feels like they've overachieved the last few years, coming close in 2020, and then last year. Is there a fall off here?
Right. Just putting this out there. This is fresh. Indiana, another win. They just beat Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell dropped 38-9 on 13 for 21 shooting. Amazing. Good for him.
That's your boy? Yep.
That's my guy, man. That's my guy. Don't be. I'm gonna be a little upset when he's a 76er in next year or the year after.
Okay.
But that's what I've been hearing. Unfortunately. But the Pacers, another good win. I love Indiana. I love their pieces. I love your boy Rick. I love Freaky Rick, man.
The addition of Bruce Brown and Obi Toppin, I think, gives them a new kind of quick, out and fast break, high flyer.
I like them.
Fast pace. I think it could be a fun team.
Good win by the night. Okay, so I don't got Heat. I don't believe in the Heat. I think their injuries are going to fail them this year. I think they're going to have a drop off. Okay, talk to me about your third.
All right, my third one. The Memphis Grizzlies are dead in the water. They're not even going to sniff the play-in. This is going to be a huge step back for them. So, I think the Ja Morant, the 19-2 record without Ja Morant a year or two ago, and going, winning some games without him, I think that magic is done. I think losing Steven Adams, you got Jaren Jackson Jr. in foul trouble almost every game already. And you had the fact that now he's got to play some centers. I think Bane is going to take a real step forward here. I've got him in our fantasy league, right? So I think that's a great pickup for me. But I think they're done. I don't even think I think they're going to be down there with the Rockets and the Spurs down there in the bottom 3.
You think Spurs bottom 3, huh? You're going okay. Good.
They're testing that, aren't they? But I mean, you got Jazz and I don't know.
Yeah. Let me tell you just who the Grizzlies are playing right now. Okay? Talk to me if you know these guys. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Jacob Gilyard. Played at Richmond. All right? Played at Richmond. He got 20 minutes last night, 2 nights ago, okay?
Yep.
You ready? This guy's been a mainstay. John Conchar. Listen,
Yep.
I had to Vince Williams Jr. Okay, these Derrick Rose. I mean, what are we doing here? Um, they, I agree. I don't think it's hot. No offense. No offense to your
That's
take.
fair. That's fair.
I,
That's
I didn't
fair.
even have them in. I wasn't even thinking about them when I did my Western Conference predictions. I didn't even have
That's
them
fair.
even close. And that's listen. I was playing. I might not still have them.
No, I
I might.
agree.
I might not
And
still have them. I think
this
Ja is a tad overrated.
this prediction was unchanged from my beginning of the season. We're recording this obviously a few days into the NBA season. This was
Yes.
unchanged from my preseason prediction, where I thought they were overrated last year. They were healthy. The last few years they've been healthy, and they've been like kind of the regular season darlings, right? They're not a
Right.
playoff team. They have no half court offense, right? They get out in transition, and when they meet a team in the playoffs that slows it down, that grinds it right, that gets physical, they've kind of fallen off, right? And
Okay.
so this was my prediction before the season, and now it's just it's just growing
It's coming
legs.
true. It's coming true.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to ask you something. What do you think Vegas's odds for win total over under were on the Memphis Grizzlies?
They were high on them. They were. I want to say it was
What do you
something
think?
like 46 games.
45 and a half, dude.
40
Yeah,
and
45 and a fucking half. So my thing
yeah.
is this. Like, point did you think that no offense to your guy Bain, good player, really good player.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
Bain's not carrying a franchise to 42 wins?
not at all, not at
Like
all.
I don't know. I think Vegas was trying to. I don't know, man. I don't get what they saw in Memphis there. So yeah, no, terrible.
In
I
a
totally
tough
agree.
in a tough Western Conference where I think they had the Nuggets and the Suns up there at 52, 53 wins, and the rest of the teams like the Clippers, the Lakers,
Yeah,
the Pelicans, the Mavericks at 46-ish games. The fact that John Morant's missing 25, right? They just must have assumed that the 19-2 record without Ja a few years ago was just going to carry over. I don't know. It seemed like Vegas missed one there.
I agree.
I would be smashing that if that's still available.
It's not. It's down to 33 and a half.
That makes
Quickly.
much more sense.
Way more sense. Okay, so I got something for you too. Okay, you ready? This
Ready.
is a real thing. They had the Kings at 42 and a half wins. Vegas.
Whew.
So we're about to do our playoff predictions, our
Yep.
1 through 8 next. All right. Kings at 48. Let me tell you, right now they're 2-2. They lost two really close ones. Like I think both in over.
Buzzer beater to Clay.
Yeah, buzzer beater to Clay, and then overtime game. I forget to who. Here's their schedule. You ready for their schedule? Here it is. Rockets, Trailblazers. Next 3 games. They'll be 5-2 before you can blink. I think they're,
Yep.
and this is without Fox. I think Fox has been out for the past 2 games. They're going to be rolling, dude. They're going to be rolling.
They'll be. Yeah, so your Blazer comment there made me realize that earlier I said the Spurs are going to be in the bottom feeder with the Grizzlies and the Rockets. I meant to say the Blazers, but you're right. They'll rack up those wins. Now, the Kings are an interesting one. I think they're a good team. Last year they had abnormal health in the sense that they had basically the same starting lineup all 82 games. A lot like Memphis Grizzlies regular season darlings. I think the Kings are a much better playoff team, but that health, can they repeat that? Can they continue to get Harrison Barnes scoring 30 points in a game? Right?
Oh,
I know that was against your Jazz, but like obviously that's not going to happen. But can they stay healthy? And I do have them as a top 3 or 4 team in my predictions. I have them at 4, but I do wonder if they're going to get any injuries. Nice.
Okay, let's get to our predictions. Okay, do you want to start with the immaculate, heavy loaded West or the shitty, pathetic, in the dirt East? What do you want to go for?
Let's save the best for last. I mean, the West has been better for 30 years, so let's get the junk conference out of the way, and let's get to the fun after that.
You take it off, man. What's your East?
All right, the East. I've got the Bucks coming in at number 1. Again, these predictions were from before the season started and before Milwaukee decided to have, I think, the league's worst defense through 4 games. I don't think that continues. I think I personally thought Coach Bud got a lot of bad press there. I think he did some great things in Milwaukee, but I think coaching change, I think, will revitalize that team. Lillard will help the half court offense. That pick and roll combo with Giannis and him will be good. Is Middleton going to come back to his normal self? You still got Brooke Lopez. You've got a good squad. I have them finishing one. I think that's going to be a risk given how the number 2 team I have, Celtics, look. Their top 6 is fantastic. I think regular season they're just going to destroy.
They are.
I think that the lack of big men depth is scary there. Again, Horford and Porzingis, 37 and a half, and then KP just being unreliable. Go ahead.
They're going to pick someone up. Like the Bucks are going to continue to mold that roster as they see fit, and the Celtics are going to continue to mold that roster. I like your 1 and 2. I'm not sold. Again, the Bucks. I have going a pretty far way. Actually, I lied. I'm losing in the second round of
second round.
But it's not because of it's not because of their defense. I think they need a year together. I do. I think it's kind of like the Heatles. I think they need a year to find rhythm. And so, I mean, listen, they just blew a 10-point lead into the fourth quarter right now. They're down to the Knicks by 2 with a minute, the Bucks. So they were just down 10. I just looked back up. They were just up 10. Now they're down 2 with a minute. So, I mean, this is in Milwaukee. So I think they need time to gel. I do.
I think you're right. I think my prediction of them at 1 is going to be a real challenge. So I'm not tied to that. I think, and then I had Cleveland. I had Cleveland at 3. I think Mobley continues to improve. I think they picked up Max Strus, who's I think a really good pickup for them. Mitchell looks great. Garland's going to be good. I think they've got a nice squad. Now, these predictions were before the Harden trade, and I think I was anticipating some Harden drama. I was anticipating some bad vibes in the locker room. They've got off him in the first 4 games of the season. Maxey is looking really good. I think that trade I think was a solid return, and honestly, it feels like a good fit. So that's another one where I think that to your earlier point, I think the Sixers can maybe sneak up to maybe where most people anticipated them. Then I've got the Knicks at 5. I think Brunson takes over the team. You and I have talked about this before. Randall and Barrett as your 2 and 3, I think is just. They've got to do something there. Get rid of Randall.
Brunson has 43 right now. Minute left to go in the fourth.
He's not the type of player to do this, but I'm like, you got to find a way to ship Randall out of town.
Randall's got to go. You're so
smart.
Go. You're so smart because let me tell you why. Julius Randle right now 5 for 18, 1 for 9 from the 3-point line. Stop shooting threes. Stop playing basketball in New York. Ship his ass out. Get him out to Toronto where they'll probably take him. All right, and bring in Siakam and some other guys, man. Get him out.
If they could do that, you do it in a heartbeat. I don't think anyone values him that way. I would say the Knicks, I think, would even benefit by getting a lesser player in theory, right, than Randall, but a better fit for that roster. I just think I don't like his game. I think he spends too much of his game in that like inconsistent shooting mode, and I think he takes up too many shots to do that. So,
Knicks 5, or you got 6? I think you told me
Knicks 5. I had the Heat 6 earlier. We talked about that, how that's a big risk. I think a rough start, Jimmy Butler's like slow starts to the regular season, right? I think that's a risk. I have the Pacers at 7. I love their fast pace. The coach, obviously, Rick Carlisle is my guy. They had some good offseason pickups. I have Magic at 8, Nets at 9, Hawks at 10. I think the Hawks are going to take a step back. They didn't really do much in the offseason. Trae Young has looked terrible, putting it nicely to start the season. And, I think they're on the downhill.
I understand where you're coming from. I like the Hawks simply because their shooting prowess and because I love Coach Snyder. Coach Snyder's I believe, is going to shape them up into a fringe playoff team. That's all I think. I think they're going to make the play-in. I think they're going to win the game. I think they're going to get in because of Snyder.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I got for him. Okay, so not bad. I like that. 8. Here's my East. I'm gonna go quick.
Let's do it.
Celtics 1. I think they're too well rounded. 76ers 2. 76ers 2. Bucks 3.
Okay.
Similar to last year, I think these teams are going to be the same
Okay.
in the exact order too. Cavs
Cleveland
4,
and New York.
Knicks 5. Yeah, man.
Okay.
Um,
I can see it.
I got Magic 6. I told you about that
Ooh.
one. Hawks
Yep.
7, Pacers 8.
Hawks 7 and Pacers 8. Okay.
Yep. So
I like it.
no
I think the
Heat.
Hawks are the one team there. Yeah, no Heat. I think that's possible. I like your lineup. I like your predictions though. I think that one. I almost like yours more than mine there. To be honest, outside of the Hawks pick.
I feel you. Yeah, I understand. Okay, West. And this was hard.
Whew.
We talked about this. This was hard. Okay. Tell me,
Impossible.
tell me about your West.
All right. So West, I kind of like.
Time. Hey, let's have some fun because I hate my friend's sports teams. So, all right, you go 1, I go 1. Let's see if we can match up. What do you got? 1 in West.
Number 1, gotta go Nuggets.
I got it. You got to go Nuggets. I agree.
Yep.
I agree. Nuggets 1. All right, 2. Who do you got?
2, I have Phoenix.
This is where we part ways.
Oh.
I have the Warriors now.
Okay.
What's their record right now? Are they like 3-2?
3-1, I think.
1.
Maybe 4-1 now.
4-1? Wait, let me see real quick because I'm curious. They are 4-1. Okay, so they're off to a pretty good start. All right. Yeah, they're 4-1. All right, and they have. Oh man, this is just too easy sometimes, man. They got that Detroit coming up, Minnesota twice. And don't get me wrong, they got an actually pretty tough schedule coming up. But so let me tell you why I like the Warriors. They got rid of Jordan Poole. Simple. It's another thing for me where it's addition by subtraction. It's just like Harden.
Yeah.
Poole's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, Draymond Green said the other night, "Hey,
Yeah, he did.
we fucking hate this guy. We love each other now. We're playing good." And I'm like,
The bad vibes are gone from the locker room, basically,
bad
is what he said.
vibes, bro. Bad vibes are
Yeah.
gone, dude. Get that guy out, dude. They hated that guy. And 2, Chris Paul. No
Okay.
matter where he goes, I don't care what role he plays. Is a regular season standing dude. No matter where he goes, he propels you from the year prior. I don't care if he's 38, 40, 35, whatever. He propels you up those ladder of the standings. I think he's going to do that here. I know they were like, what, 3 or 4 last year? Were they 4?
They were 3-6. Was it the 3-6 matchup where it was them in Sacramento?
Oh, yeah, they were 6. They were 6. So I have them, oh man, I have them jumping 4 spots. But I just think they're going to get better by losing him. I also think they're going to add a big at the trade deadline, which is going to help them. Not sure who. I do think they add maybe a Hartenstein, like someone that can just provide that depth on the back line. And they really need a big. They need a big that can just rebound, screen, and give screen assists.
But don't they have that in Looney? Or do you think they need someone off the bench?
I want another one to come in with them.
Okay.
I want someone. They need listen, because Chris Paul needs a lob threat. He's such a good lob thrower and alley-oop thrower that he needs more lob threats. They don't have one coming off the bench right now.
They don't have that. They don't have
Saric is Saric your guy. I mean, maybe he gets hurt a lot. I just want them to. I love for them to bring in a guy like a Plumlee, a Hartenstein, some backup 7-foot, pasty white European big that can come in there, get rebounds and screen. And rim protect a little bit. So I'd like to see them do that. Okay. Who you got?
So for 3, I have the Warriors. So we're not too far off there on the Warriors. How about you? Who's your 3rd?
3, I have Suns. So we're just flip-flopping.
Okay.
We're close on the top 3. Okay, so we got the top 3. We got the top 4 teams because we know the Kings are next.
The Kings. Look at that.
Boom. Good for us, man. Good for us.
Okay.
Who do you got?
All right. 5, I got my boys. The Dallas Mavericks. I think this is a controversial one. Actually, go ahead and say yours, and I'll give the spiel on the Mavs. What do you got?
No way. I put my. Oh man, I don't want to say. I listen. Not a chance on God's green earth do the Mavericks finish in the top 5 in the West. No offense.
Wow. Okay.
Luka can average 40, 10, and 11, and
Okay.
I don't think they get there. I get that they're 4-0. I get they're 4-0. Schedule is soft. Is just so soft. The Spurs, the Nets. I know you like the Nets. the Spurs, the Nets. I mean, who else did this team play? That was just
We had the Grizzlies without Ja
those
and
five
Chicago.
in Chicago. Oh my God. And they struggled to get past a lot of these games. These were tight games.
They were tight games.
I believe these were tight games, except for
Some of them.
maybe the Bulls and Grizzlies. I think got away at the end, but it was a game mid fourth quarter. Um, I don't like them. I don't like the Mavericks. I actually have the Mavericks making the playoffs, though. I want to say
Okay.
that to you.
Okay.
I don't have them top five, and don't get me wrong. I had the Mavericks in the finals last year. That was my preseason prediction was Mavericks Bucks last year.
I remember that.
So
So
I love Luka. I don't like Kyrie. I don't think it's going to work. Kyrie has not been there. This has been the Luka show.
yeah,
I think Kyrie gets back. I think there's going to be trouble. I think there's going to be your turn, my turn. I think the defense is gonna dip. I don't see the Mavs top five. And again, fuck Dallas, fuck your team, fuck your franchise.
I'm okay with that. But let me hit you with my thoughts here. So obviously Dallas fan, but
Go ahead.
I think people are down on the roster. I think Kyrie's obviously a huge controversial piece that I think a lot of people are kind of rooting for the Mavs to fail. And it was an awkward fit last year, and I think their skill sets are pretty similar, right? The ability to score.
JJ, they tanked with this team.
They did throw the last two games. I think the national media, I think, overblew that. I think, your squad, right? Love Utah. I don't really. I hate my friends' teams. I hate your team, but they started tanking about a month before the end of the season. You look at Trailblazers, they shut down Dame, 6 weeks. And then national media decided that, the Mavs throwing the last two games was some form of, cardinal sin and had to be, like, they basically invented taking. But I think there's a lot of.
Sorry, hold on one second. This is pathetic. Who gave Dallas Mavericks this schedule? They have Charlotte, Toronto coming up. They have Washington coming up. This is pathetic. What?
So you're arguing that they're going to get off to like a 10-2 start and then just tank just collapse. So,
oh
but
my God, I don't know now.
But I think
really easy. Go ahead, talk to me.
I think the pickup of Grant Williams adds some physical defense that they lost in the Dorian Finney-Smith trade to get Kyrie. Lively looks like Tyson Chandler 2.0. His ability to be a lob threat for Luka and Kyrie, that interior defense that they didn't have with Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber. I think that they spent an offseason and training camp figuring out how to push the pace. I know you've been down on Luka for his lack of kind of tempo. I think that's going to change this year, and I think you're already seeing some of the results there. I understand it's a controversial pick. I think I've talked basketball with a few people, and people ask me what the Mavs ceiling is. And I'm telling them, in a wide open West, I think the Mavs can finish anywhere between 3 and 11.
Listen,
and
I don't buy 3 to 11. I buy like 5 to 11 for them. I do. But I mean, listen. I think, again, and I've said this to you personally, I think I oversold on them after the Western Conference Finals run, and now I'm trying to dial it back a little bit.
That's fair.
I don't like the Kyrie fit. I really don't. I think he's a great talent. I do think he has a home somewhere that he can really contribute. I don't see this working in an 82-game season, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean,
we'll see.
Listen, okay, so let me just knock off my West. You ready? Nuggets.
Let's do it.
Warriors.
Yep.
Suns,
Yep.
Kings. Okay.
Yep.
Number 5, I do have Clippers.
Oh, okay.
There's too much talent for them not to get top 6. I had to put them in top 6 somewhere. So
that's fair.
I have Clippers at number 5. I got the Thunder at number 6. I think they're real. I think they're real. Again, we talked about this. I got the Lakers at 7 just because I think they get to the play-in and I think they work their way in, man. I really do, unfortunately.
Okay.
And I got the Mavericks at 8. I have the Mavericks finishing at 7 but falling back to 8.
Okay.
In the play-in. So that's my West. I got Nuggets Mavs first round.
Oh,
I know.
Luka and Jokic, that could be amazing. So,
amazing.
All right. So what that means, though, is that you don't have the Wolves in the playoffs.
I don't have the Timberwolves. I listen. I'm a Utah Jazz fan. Okay. I've watched Rudy Gobert for 10 years in Utah. I know what he brings. I know how they attack him. I know how they space him in the playoffs. I've seen it done too many times. I've seen him get in arguments with his teammates over time. Every year, I think it's going to blow up, and I think this is the year that they finally are like, okay, something has to change. We have to pivot. I think this is finally the year they pivot. Whether it's from Cat, whether it's from Rudy early, pivot from one of them. That tandem does not work. No matter how you set it up, it does not work. I don't care that Towns can hit threes. Someone's getting traded at the deadline this year. I believe
It feels like unless they get off to a good start, that something's got to change there. It feels like the most likely is Towns. I think Timberwolves admitting that quickly that Rudy is a mistake, and owing the Jazz first round picks for the next 8 years is going to be a tough look for them. I think you're right. I think ideally they could get off Rudy, but you're not going to. And I think so. The most likely candidate is Towns.
right.
But then you've got Ant, and you've got Gobert there. So I'm really curious to see what they do. I think that they've got.
Hey, real quick, can I just tell you their upcoming schedule?
Let's do it.
Boston, Pelicans healthy, Golden State, Phoenix, Pelicans, New York, Philly, Sacramento.
Wow.
Gauntlet the next 10. So you were talking about good start. At best, I see him going 500.
And they're already 500 right now. So you're talking maybe after the first 14 games, you're 7-7. I don't think that's good enough. I think this team has higher expectations, and we may be finding out about Timberwolves where they land pretty quickly here.
I agree, man. Like Nas Reed has been their top scorer 2 of the first 4 games. Like
he's been great. He's been great.
That's my guy. I actually got to meet him at a tournament. I coached at for AAU last summer. I got to talk to him for about 10 minutes. Great dude. Facebook friends now. Love you, Nas. That's not sustainable. No offense to Nas. Not sustainable.
Yeah.
So I don't see them making it. I don't have them. I'm like you, man. I don't have the Pels either. I have them in the play-in. I have them losing again.
What is it about the Pels? So mine was health concerns. It's just health. Right? Okay. Yeah.
There's nothing else.
Yeah.
Because McComb's actually playing great so far.
And when they're healthy, I mean, you look back to the start of last year, right? They were something crazy. Like they were leading the West for the first month or two. I think they started off, don't quote me on this, but it was something like 10-2 or something. They were fantastic, and then just injuries piled up. And I think at some point you had the whole team out. It was if they're healthy, I mean, they've got Alvarado, Herb Jones, McCollum, Zion, Brandon Ingram. They've got Trey Murphy. They've got a nice squad. So this one, I feel like this one could easily sneak up on us if they're healthy, and we'll look like we'll have some egg on our face a little bit. But all right, so you ran through your West. Let me. We were lined up top 4. Let me tell you. So obviously we talked about Mavs at 5. I had the Wolves at 6.
Interesting.
I think Ant is going to take a step forward. I think it's one of those things where, similar to Brunson in New York, I think it's Ant's team now, and that was awkward, right? The last 2 years, was it Cat's team? Was it Ant's team?
Right.
I think last year's playoff run in USA basketball, I think Ant takes a step forward. I think they've been a good regular season team. I think you're right. I think Gobert's a risk in the playoffs, but I think they could be a good regular season team. Although I wish I had looked at the schedule and who they were playing over the first 14 games, because this is going to be brutal. If they come through this 7-3, I think it's a good pick. If they come through this 3-7 in the tough West, that could be brutal.
I have them at 4-6. By the way, most of these games are on the road.
That's tough. So
it is going to be tough for them.
We'll know pretty quickly. And then I've got Thunder. I think they're for real. I think the Thunder are going to take a huge step forward. I like their team. They're going to be one of my favorite League Pass teams. I watched them the other day. Unfortunately, get smacked by the Nuggets, but who doesn't? I think Chet's the real deal. I think you add him into that team that was doing real great at the end of the year. I mean, they made the play-in, right? Shea Gilgeous is fantastic. Giddey is fun. Dort. They've got young guys everywhere, a lot like the Magic, and I think that they take a step forward.
Good.
Then I've got the LA teams. And I've got Clippers, then Lakers. I've been high on the Clippers. I think I've had the Clippers pretty much my preseason pick. Go ahead.
You have Clippers at 8?
I have Clippers at 8. I do.
Interesting. Okay.
And now
Nuggets, Clippers, round 1?
Make Nuggets Clippers round one. That would be insane. Now, obviously, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
This prediction was before the Harden trade, so okay. I'm really curious to see how this works out. Because to your earlier point, you're injecting Harden into a situation that could really quickly go fast. That I mean, you mentioned the interview, right? Looked awkward. Did you see that video of Terrence Mann looking at Harden as he walked in the locker room? I mean, it. Exactly. Just on his phone, felt like he was almost texting a friend. Like this dweeb just showed up, right? I don't know. I mean, I could be reading into it, but could be an issue now. I've been as high on the Clippers as anyone out there. I had them as my finals pick the last couple of years, even when I thought Jokic was the best player in the league, and the Nuggets I thought were really good. As the season went on, Nuggets were clearly my finals pick. But beginning of the year, thought it was Clippers. 2021, I thought they were the best team in the league until Kawhi went down. I'm as high on the Clippers as anyone. Same thing with the Pelicans. I don't see these guys making it through a whole season. So
me neither.
We'll see.
Me neither. Okay, so we have our predictions. Okay, so let's go through the playoffs.
Let's do it.
Let's get it out. Okay. I'll give you. So listen, I'm just going to give you Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. I'm going through it. Actually, I kind of want to go one round earlier. Okay, semifinals on. Okay, because
let's do it.
I have an upset. I have a major upset. Okay. I have Thunder beating Suns round one.
Oh.
I don't listen. It just pains
so
me to
that's
say
the 3-6. Was that the 3-6 matchup?
Yeah, this pains me to say it because I think people are starting to see it, and
I think I know where you're going.
Durant is a step slower.
Yep.
Durant's a step slower. Physicality is the people getting physical with him is starting to. Obviously, you've seen this for about 2 years now. Is starting to really play a role as he's getting older. I think Devin Booker's amazing. I've been on Devin Booker train for about 3 years, and you know this.
Yep.
Devin Booker to me is the best shooting guard in the league, hands down. I don't think. You can give me your arguments, and in our next episode, we're going top 7 players, and we're going to talk about who we think's best at which position and whatnot.
Yep.
Devin Booker's amazing. He is our new age Kobe Bryant, whether you like it or not. But I'm not a huge fan of Bradley Beal. I don't know where he fits. We haven't seen anything yet.
A lot of similar skill sets.
Very similar. And we know this. But I just don't see that team going far. I have them going out round one, Western Conference Finals. I guess we're going to make that hot take. But I don't see them. I don't see it with them.
If I had one more hot take, it was going to be that the Suns underperform relative to expectations. I'm with you. I think Durant is amazing, and we'll get into this in the next episode. Like Durant and Booker are high on my list, but there's just something about that team. I don't like the fit. I think they made some good moves to get better depth, but I just don't think it's good enough.
I don't like the city. I don't like the owner. I don't like
just the whole vibes, just the whole franchise.
About Arizona that anyone loves. Okay.
And as a Mavs fan with the whole Luka and Booker matchup, I'm okay with that. I'm actually supportive of that. And, we did hot takes earlier, and this was, again, could have been I don't think Booker, I know you like him a lot. I don't think he's that guy yet. So he's my best shooting guard in the league, but I think as you talk about those tier 1 players, right, I don't think he's in there. And I think that, like last night against the Spurs, right? He talks trash when they start making a run. Then they call a timeout. He gets shut down. He disappears. He disappears when it matters the most. And I think that's what separates him and the top tier guys. I think for as long as he's doing that nonsense, I don't see them as a real contender.
I have to stop you. So we're going to have our first real argument. Okay. You go watch the finals when he took his team to the finals. All right, a couple years ago, and
he had a squad around him. He had a squad.
He had an old Chris Paul. He had 35.
Paul was good. Bridges, they had depth. They don't have that anymore.
You go rewatch that entire playoff run by Booker and tell me if he doesn't show up in big spots. I find that wrong.
I might have exaggerated a little bit. I didn't mean he didn't pull up. He didn't show up in big spots. What I meant by that was he has a tendency at times to disappear in big spots. Doesn't mean he doesn't show up in big spots, because he
Okay.
does show up big. Last year's playoff run was fantastic. I got to give it to him. He was out of this world.
Okay.
But
Fair enough.
I think too frequently he starts getting into this trash talk, front running, or when they're close, and then he just disappears at times, right?
Right.
Like the Mavs series, the last 2 games he was terrible, right?
I agree with you to an extent. I know what you're trying to say, but I watched that man carry his team to the NBA Finals, and I watched him. If it wasn't for Greek Freak putting up a 40, 10, and 7 NBA Finals MVP, he's getting that.
He had a
NBA
50
Finals
burger in Game 6 too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so Greek Freak has an historic defensive block and just goes nuts in that
One of the all-time
But
great plays. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to put that out there. I have Thunder beating the Suns. We'll get back to that.
So
Okay. Listen, my final 4 for the West is Nuggets, Kings, Warriors, Thunder. That's where I got
Nuggets, Kings, Warriors, Thunder. Okay.
I got Nuggets, Warriors. I got Nuggets,
Warriors.
I do. I
This
and hear me out. This is the Warriors' last run. I believe.
Ooh.
This is their last
Okay.
run. They're happy.
Well, Clay's a free agent.
They're happy.
Okay.
They're fresh.
Yeah.
They're healthy.
Okay.
I like Chris Paul off the bench. I love it. I think they get a big at the
Okay.
deadline, if not more. And
Okay.
I think they make one final run together this year. I really do, man. I think they make one final run this year. I think they get back to the West Conference Finals. And I think, and I hate it. I think they lose to the Nuggets.
Okay. When you were saying one final run, I was like, wait, one more finals run?
I'm realistic. I think they go out to the Nugs in a really tough fought battle. Don't get me wrong. Steph Curry is the best American player in the NBA. He's the best American in the NBA. Okay, he's off to another tear this year. He's unbelievable. He wants to be like James Harden said the other day. I am a system. Steph Curry is a system.
He is the system.
Is a system.
Yeah,
that is a system.
Yeah.
Ever since he was at Davidson. So, listen to me. I think they go one more run. I think they challenge the Nuggets all the way to Game 6 or 7. I'm not sure yet. And then I think and you already know my East. My East, I have Celtics and Sixers and there at the end. I have a very mundane, boring top seeds going. I have the Celtics going back to the finals from 2 years ago, and I have the Nuggets going back again. I think as long as the Nuggets stay healthy, I think as long as Jamal Murray and Jokic stay healthy, they go back. They're just in the middle of their prime. They have a great coach, a great organization. They have so much good continuity together, and that's sustainable. And I think they get back. And Celtics Nugs, to me, it was really hard to go off of. But this is hard. Because I think Tatum and Brown struggle down the stretch of playoff games. But I love Drew Holiday. I love the addition. I love that addition.
Yeah.
I love Derek White. I love Horford off the bench.
Amazing.
I love everything about him.
Yeah.
Listen to me here, okay? If Porzingis plays in that finals healthy, Celtics win. If Porzingis does not play in that finals healthy or does not play, Nuggets repeat. That's what I got.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Let's pause there for a second.
Yeah.
If KP plays, and if he plays, you're saying they win. Now, I think
plays healthy.
Plays healthy and plays well, or just plays healthy.
They need him to play healthy.
Just his spacing.
They need to play healthy. They not only just need his jump shooting, they need his rim protection.
And his rim protection.
They need his rim protection. Like, I get that he can't guard the post 1v1. I mean, he's not great guarding the post 1v1. He can't stop Jokic 1v1 in the post. I get it. Doesn't need
but off of rotations and he can be a lead block.
They'll put Horford's ass on Jokic, and that will
the Embiid stopper.
It will make Jokic, as much as you don't think so, second guess some of his shots and playmaking abilities in the mid post. I believe that. Same way he made Embiid second guess a lot last year. I really believe that. But I think similar to what
I think similar to what Hachimura did last year in Game 1, where they brought him over to double and gave Jokic a couple of problems down the stretch of that second half. I think they do the same with Porzingis. I think they linger him off of Aaron Gordon. I think put him on Aaron Gordon. And this is what I would do. I have him rove a lot. You want to make someone beat you? Make Porter and Gordon beat you.
That's where he's excellent. Yeah.
And listen,
Yeah.
Gordon can't listen. Gordon had oh my God, he had Jimmy Butler, and he had. I want to say, dude, who was the guard that was guarding Aaron Gordon in the posts last year for the Heat in the finals? Okay, Gordon was just destroying. He had a great Caleb Martin. They had Caleb Martin.
Oh, right.
Seriously.
Right. Yeah. When he had like the 20-point game or whatever it is.
Put 7-3 Porzingis on Aaron Gordon in the post. He struggles with length. He struggles with length in the post. So I think they match up perfectly. I think you put Drew on Jamal. I think they match up perfectly with Denver.
It would be an all-time finals. I really think that. But I think where I differ with you is I don't think Porzingis can just play and just play healthy. I think Porzingis has to play well. And I think that consistency, if he plays well, I think they could win that series.
What's well to 15, 7-2? Because that's well to
so that would be amazing. Now, the reason why I say that is I watched Porzingis for a couple years in Dallas. He wasn't fully healthy like he is now, and I still don't trust him to play the full season. But
you know me, I don't trust him either.
Yes, exactly. I think he tends to, at least the last few years, in the bubble he was fantastic. Then he got hurt. If he does 15, 7-2, they win.
Right. Okay, fair enough. So predictions, JJ Welch, what do you got for me?
Let's do it. So I've got Final Four in the East. I think I've got Bucks, Celtics, Cavs, and Sixers. So I go pretty much chalk in the East in terms of my top four seeds, but Bucks, Celtics, Cavs, Sixers. And then in the West, I've got Nuggets. And I like that Thunder and Suns upset. I like that.
Okay.
I think I'm going that, but that was 2-7 for me. I got Warriors over the Wolves, and I've got Kings over the Mavs. So, and then I've got it going Bucks and Celtics. So the Sixers go out second round, per usual. And then I've got Nuggets and Warriors. Is that right? No. Can't.
No.
Yes, Nuggets and Warriors.
Okay.
And I think that's right. Yeah, Nuggets and Warriors. And then, that's an interesting one because you had the same thing.
Right.
And you've always you loved the Warriors matchup for the Nuggets, or the Warriors matchup against the Nuggets because you like the Warriors' ability to make Jokic guard in space, which was his real struggle and something I think that you were down on him on the last few years. I think he answered a little bit of that last year, but
so
that's a tough matchup.
Let me get back to you. If I'm coaching the Golden State Warriors, okay, I am dragging Jokic. Sometimes just keep things simple. I am putting him in high pick and roll after high pick and roll after high pick and roll. Let me tell you what else I do.
Yep.
I'm putting Draymond on him. I'm putting Draymond on him because they let Draymond get physical, guys.
They do.
They let him get physical.
He gets away with a lot.
And
yep.
I'm going to tell you something else. Draymond is always the trailer. He's always the trailer. He's always at the top of the key, and he's always initiating offense. Dribble handoffs, go screens, drag screens. He's always doing these type of things. So my thing is for him, make Jokic go out there and guard all this stuff. Put Draymond at the 5 and make him guard these actions nonstop. And it's a flow of action. They are the best. Warriors are the best in the NBA at creating flow of action. DHO to slip screen to stagger screen on the backside. That guy backdoors the next guy.
Beautiful basketball.
Just action after action. Make him guard that stuff. Keep things simple. Bring him out. Make him guard. I actually still have the Nuggets winning that because, I just think that Jamal Murray is too good.
Too good. And he's going to get better. Another year removed from that injury.
It's insanity.
So
we'll see. So you have
I've got
Nugs Warriors and Bucks Celtics. All right, who you got coming out?
Bucks Celtics. So I've got the Nuggets winning. I think they're just too good. Yes, they lost a couple pieces. Bruce Brown, Jeff Green. I think the young guys are going to take a step forward. Peyton Watson and Brown.
Okay.
So I got Nuggets winning, and then preseason pick was Bucks. Preseason pick was Bucks. I thought that their start of the season would be a bit smoother. I like the Lillard and Giannis combo. I still have some concerns about Middleton's health, about Giannis' shot selection. I don't think he's just been as dominant as he was a couple of years ago, so I want to see him get back.
Well, right now, let me say this real quick. Right now, he's deferring a lot to Dame, trying to play nice.
He is.
And his shot attempts are down by 7 shot attempts so far this year. 7.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's settling for mid-rangers, middies. I don't like it. I think you're right. I think it's an awkward first few weeks, just like the Heatles, right? There's just a growing pain. I think I underrated the growing pain. So, as mentioned earlier, I could very easily see the Celtics doing that and making an all-time final. So I'm gonna stick with my preseason. I'm gonna go Bucks Nuggets. We get a matchup of I don't want to ruin our episode, but we get a preview of the two best players in the NBA.
No doubt.
And I think the Nuggets repeat. I think that we're living in Jokic's world right now as an NBA landscape, and I don't think they lost that much, and I think they can replace most of what they lost. And like you said, Murray is just going to be even better. They got shooters everywhere. I think Nuggets go back to back.
It's not a bad take. It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue after what I witnessed last year. Here's my argument.
Okay.
They played in 3 out of the 4 teams they played last year in the playoffs were the Timberwolves, Lakers, and Heat. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Timberwolves were their best matchup. Were the hardest matchup for them. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought they played a really favorable schedule. I think the Lakers in the West Conference Finals was easy. I think the Heat in the finals was easy.
They shouldn't have been there. I mean, the Celtics should have been there, but yeah, you're right. But you can't. I mean, I hear your point. You can't also blame them. I mean, you got to play the team that's on the schedule. And
I agree. I'm with you. But I'm arguing that because this year I don't think they get that. Like you don't think they're Clippers first round this year?
Yeah,
that's a different ball game. If Kawhi, let me tell you what. If Kawhi is fully healthy for a full series against them, I goddamn guarantee you Game 7. I guarantee you Game 7 against Kawhi.
That's the thing about my Clippers prediction, right? Is if the Clippers are healthy, I mean, I have them number 2, right? Like that's the thing. But like I don't trust them. And to your point, it's one of those things in the West, right? This is the unfair thing about the West is you get one of those West teams that get unhealthy, right? Get bad luck with health. Then they get healthy right at the end of the year. They find themselves in the 7, 8 seed. And if you're a 1 or 2 seed and you match up against a healthy Clippers team with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George first round, you feel like you were, it was rigged. Like you were robbed of a chance to go deep in the playoffs because you see them first round.
Agreed.
It's tough.
Like for me, you have them against the Clippers. I have them against your Mavericks first round. Against Kyrie and Luka.
Yeah.
You don't think they can't?
You can win a couple games for sure.
They can't find magic in a bottle real quick for a series.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like Luka and Kyrie can't.
Yeah.
Listen, I know we're big on Jokic right now. Luka can't outplay him for a 7-game series. Are you kidding me? Come on, Luka.
I think he can.
Come on,
man. I think he can. And I don't want to spoil it, but I think Jokic and Embiid and Giannis have owned this MVP conversation. I think the white boy down in Dallas is I think it's his year, and I think that that's kind of why I'm high on them. And to your point, Jokic and Luka, they've had great battles, and the Mavericks actually have played them really well. They played tonight.
Hey, real quick,
we'll see.
Breaking news: Steph Curry game-winning layup.
Outstanding.
5-1.
5-1.
So I had him 2.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
You had it 2. So far, so good for you.
And you have 3 though, correct?
I did.
Solid. So I mean,
looking good.
Dude. Let's see. Let's check. Oh man, so they beat Steph Curry at the buzzer against them too, against the Thunder. The Thunder.
Okay. I need them to get the wins for our predictions.
Steph, man, what a guy. Chris Paul had 1 point off the bench. Doesn't matter. Has 13 assists, and that's all they need. They need someone else to set up young guys.
They do.
That's it. That's it, man. Let's see who played well for them. The Warriors. I'm super curious. Okay. I'm seeing who's trying to get minutes. Is Kuminga ever going to take a step?
He had a great preseason. I think he was the leading
for 15 shooting.
Leading scorer in the preseason. He had an amazing efficiency. I think he does. I think this year he's got to. I think he's got to, and I think he will.
Sarge 20 off the bench. What the hell?
That is tough.
What in the
That
world?
is tough.
Let's see, man. Oh man, dude. Good win for them, man. They had Wiggins. I mean, their full lineup, man. God, I like. They have the usual starting five with Sarge. Kuminga has got to take a step.
He does. He does because they're. I mean, they got Peyton Paul, Sarge, and Kuminga off the bench. Yeah, their big men depth is, to your point earlier, they don't have a lot of big men depth. Yeah, we'll see.
We will see. Luka is. Oh, Kyrie's okay. So let's talk. Kyrie's back tonight. He's playing right now. They're down 16 in the first.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you've got the Nuggets in the Mile High, right, in the altitude at home. I think they're the best team in basketball. Between you and I, the Mavs and Nuggets have played each other well the last few years. This is a tough one. I think we're 4-0. We probably maybe overachieved a little bit, or maybe it was just a weak schedule. But a loss here, I don't think is a big deal, and I wouldn't read too much into what Kyrie's back, so they're losing. I think it's more Denver is just that good, and they've been smacking everyone.
I'm not. I'm going to read into Kyrie. I'm going to read into their record without Kyrie, their record without Luka, their record together. I think that's more something than nothing. I really do. But I mean,
Kyrie's been off to a tough start. His shooting hasn't been there this year. I think if he makes the shots he usually makes, I think we're having a different discussion.
Okay.
So far at the start of the season, and I'm not too worried. But we'll revisit this, I'm sure, plenty of times over the course of this year.
For sure. With that being said, that's an hour 20 minutes.
Great first episode.
Let's go, man. Guys, next episode we're going to be talking our top 10 basketball players, our top players at each position, jerseys, Vegas over/unders, bets, lots of bets we're going to be talking about what you should be making out there, and much more, man. Listen, we were pretty close on almost everything tonight.
No real arguments. I look forward. You and I,
stuff, man. Truthfully,
yeah. We'll get into the Suns and Booker next time. I think will be a big one, and then Giannis and Jokic might be a big one.
It's going to be a big one. Now, don't get me wrong. Jokic's numbers are down this year so far. So are Giannis's. But Jokic is kind of coasting a little bit early on. Giannis is kind of being passive and letting Dame find his rhythm, and other guys find their rhythm, Middleton and all those. So they're both kind of playing under their stat lines of what their career stats are. But we know who they are. We know who those two are at this point. We don't need to. Nothing is going. They're still young. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be a crazy next episode. I'm pretty pumped, man. Pretty pumped.
It's going to be great. Well, thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.